True story. I used to hate Christmas. For real. On the first day of Christmas, my true love sent to me.
Listen, this Christmas, let's make it a real mass for Christ. Listen to what I'm saying. Christ is not interested in you going in the store and making the already rich, putting yourself in debt for another year to give out gifts. Come on. Jesus didn't ask you to do that. When you go home, take your Bible, look at the 10th chapter of Jeremiah, and know that going out in the forest, cutting down a tree, bringing it home, decking it with silver and gold, that's what the heathens do. You don't need no Christmas tree in your house. That's pagan practice. Leave the tree. Oh, come on, Farrakhan. Leave the tree. Leave the lights. Because you in the end of the month, Santa ain't paying your electric bill. And I tell you what, leave the mythical Santa at the North Pole, or wherever the hell he is. You leave Santa. And don't you ever again spend money on your children and give the credit to a mythical Caucasian and make your children think that they gotta continue to look to white people to get things that you give them with your hard sweat and blood.
Tryna duck the feds, just bust a nigga head, cause these niggas try to play with my bread. Jingle bells, motherfucker 12, I'ma drop a bag on your head. The neighbors won't tell, and we left with no shells. It's a dead man sleep in your bed.
And when I speak, I don't speak as a Democrat or a Republican. I speak as a victim of America's so-called democracy. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy.
He's cocking his gun, checking his clip, riding through tents, watching those who gon' slip, cause Project is gon' lay you down. He sees you with your ice on, he knows that you a hoe. He knows you got them bricks and stacks, so he can get in your dough. Oh, you better not look, you better not snitch. All state witnesses will end up dead in the ditch, cause Project is gon' lay you down. Merry Christmas, niggas.
And the Nation of Islam because of what we teach. And that idea of separation and the militancy of the nation frightened. When I say militancy, I'm talking about discipline. We don't train here with guns. We are not training to overthrow government. We want to overthrow the wicked government that's in the minds of our people that cause us to do the things that we are doing against ourselves and against one another. So they were looking for someone much younger. They got rid of Malcolm. They destroyed the Black Panther Party and got rid of Dr. King. So coming out of the 60s, there was only one leader and black group that survived all of the tactics, all of the tricks, all of the plots. And that was Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam. But when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad departed in 1975, they thought they had won. That was the last black organization coming out of the 60s. It was the last of the black love, black power, black pride that was on the scene. But in early September of 1977, a young man rose with a determination and a tenacity to rebuild the Nation of Islam and bring back the father and teacher of black consciousness, black theology, black thought, black self-knowledge, black self-sufficiency, and the idea of separation and independence. And that young man that rose in early September of 1977 that's still here today is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. All praise is due to Allah. Look at this. The man that rose has been a thorn to the white man ever since. The minister's rise and the reestablishment of the Nation of Islam has interfered with their plans of the total destruction of black people in America. They had to change the music because when Farrakhan burst on the scene, coming into the early 80s, it gave birth to hip-hop. And the early hip-hop rappers were spitting out conscious thought in the music. This is a fact. Public Enemy, Rakim, these rappers coming out of New York, coming out of the East Coast, where the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan taught and was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's minister in New York. He affected black people in New York. So it's not a surprise that hip-hop rose out of New York. But the minister in the early days of the rebuilding was crisscrossing the country. He was speaking to young people. He was in the black colleges and universities. And young people on the college campuses, there was black consciousness. And that black consciousness influenced the lyrics of the rappers. Y'all remember, I'm looking at some people that, you know, of the original hip-hop culture and movement. Then crack cocaine flooded our community in the 80s. I'm telling you, Every time we rise to consciousness, the enemy comes from our left, from our right, from before us and from behind us. In the Quran, Satan, under the name Iblis, he promises God the day or the time that they are raised, I am gonna come from before them, from behind them, from their left side, from their right side. I'm gonna cause them all to deviate. I'm gonna come in thy straight path. See, the truth is straight. The rightness and correctness of God's message through the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it's straight, brother and sister. It's right. So the enemy has to come in the straight path, in the straightness and rightness and correctness of the message of God, and cause the people to fall away and deviate from that. Y'all all right? So after hip hop and rap, all of a sudden on the West Coast, see, from the east, light shines from the east to the west. But from the west came gangster rap. From the west came all the beefing that took place. And gradually, that gangster rap influenced the hip-hop culture. Huh? But something happened even with Dre and Snoop and Ice Cube and Ice-T and my other brother that was Easy. That's right, y'all. What you know about that? They were listening to the minister too. So now they came under the influence of a conscious message. So now the enemy has to come up with another plan. Now you got what's on the radio today. There was
we made USA insurance for better
or conscientious lyrics in both rap and in reggae. But today, gee, I know, looking at my young brothers and sisters, the enemy is programming you in self-destruction and weaponizing you, taking a word from our student minister Wesley Muhammad, weaponizing you as an agent of destruction for your own people and your own community, and you're not even aware that you're being used as a tool and a weapon and an instrument of the enemy to the destruction of our community. Do you know that we are in the worst condition ever that we have been? Because never during the time of slavery, during the Reconstruction period, through the Civil Rights Movement, did we ever become killers and murderers of one another. Look at the savagery. Look at the level of abuse and mistreatment of our women and our girls and our children today. Drugs have always been around, but now it has become a part of the culture for this enemy. Our entertainers and artists in the 30s, 40s, 50s, they got exposed to cocaine and heroin and certainly alcohol. But you never heard them promoting it in their music, did you? They had habits. But Satan, now he has created a society, a culture, an environment where all of these things that are destructive to the human being has been approved, has been popularized, glamorized. Y'all all right? So now the young brother and sister grow up, hey, look at you like, what's the problem? Ain't nothing wrong. What, Molly? Are you kidding me? Man, leave me alone, man. Because it now has become the norm.
It signifies like where it all started at.
This thing has gotten to the point.
The street I was born on.
Well, if God don't end this thing quick, but it's all going according to his plan and will. It's not on our timetable. It's on his. So, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been a thorn. And when he, out of his own pocket, out of the support of the believing community in the Nation of Islam, who give to him our charity, and that's why we love supporting our minister Louis Farrakhan, because our nickels, our dimes, and our dollars go to a man that is always using that money not to enrich himself, but always finding a way to use the support that is given to him to advance the cause of God and to spread a message of truth that will get our people up from the terrible condition that white folks have put us in. So because of our support of the minister, he went back to the black colleges and universities that welcomed him in the 80s, into the 90s. And since they could not afford, or they did not have it in their treasuries, or they could not get it from the university because those student governments and organizations and bodies that wanted Louis Farrakhan, those institutions were not support bringing Louis Farrakhan. So Louis Farrakhan said, the hell with them. He didn't say it like that, but if you want me, I will come at my own expense. So now, and his influence on the great artists and rappers of today, they all love Louis Farrakhan. They all look to him as a great father, a wise man. See, the enemy is being defeated at every turn. And you and I know that the minister could not have done what he has done and produced the miracles and survived against the most powerful enemy on earth if God was not with him and if God did not back Louis Farrakhan. So the question is, who is Louis Farrakhan? The Bible tells us about Jesus and how he was hated by the Jews. The Jews plotted against Jesus. No man has walked in the shoes of the Jesus in your Bible more than the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. That's a fact. Why did they hate Jesus? What crime did he commit? He was a voice for the voiceless. He was a voice for the poor. Why did they hate him? Because Jesus did what no other prophet before him did. He uncovered and unmasked Satan, who had been hiding and concealed during the time of the prophets. Satan was not fully exposed and manifested. Even the historical Jesus, when he was exorcising the demons, Satan was present back then with our brother Jesus. Notice how I said that, our brother Jesus, because Jesus of 2,000 years ago was a brother. He was a man sent by God as the last prophet to Jews. They rejected him. They rejected his message. And Satan then, and notice when he exorcises these demons and they came out and they said, why do you torture us?
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk.
The appointed time. Satan knew that Jesus of 2,000 years ago was 2,000 years too early. Notice what Satan says. Why, Son of Man? Stop. The people are wondering, who is the man? But Satan is very clear on who the man is among the people. The people haven't figured it out. The people didn't say, Son of Man, Son of God. They had to come into that knowledge. But the minute he spoke, the devil knew who he was looking at. Why, Son of Man, do you torture us before the appointed or prescribed time? The advent of the Messiah. You'll know the Messiah is among you, present in the world, because he's unmasking Satan himself. And you know who Satan is because Satan is going to respond to the Son of God. Y'all with me? I know our subject is accept your own and be yourself. But this is all a part of accepting who you are, your place, your destiny, your future, and accepting God and what God has for the black man, because the white man don't have nothing for you. Did you hear what I said? He ain't got a thing for you. He's finished with us. He's pushing you out. You wanted to be in the burbs? Go. We're taking back all of the places in the neighborhoods in the inner city. The regentrification is taking place all over the country, all over the world. They pushing us out. They don't need you anymore. So then why are you holding us hostage? Let us go then. Why are you holding us back then? Let us go and give us a state or territory or some land that we can call our own so that we can build our own world. Why are you holding us hostage? Because the enemy knows that there is the law that you reap what you have sown. Why did Thomas Jefferson say, I tremble for my country when I reflect that God is just, and that his justice cannot sleep forever? They know this is the time of the Messiah, the time of the Messianic people. They know it's the time for you to rise, the time for you to go for self, the time that the ties between us and them is to be severed. Y'all all right? The Jews hated Jesus. The Jesus of 2,000 years ago, they knew that was not the Messiah. But today, they know that the Messiah is present. Today, they know on the top of their list is Louis Farrakhan. What has our brother done to upset them? It's the truth that he speaks that opens up your and my mind, and it causes a falling away from them. There's a different black man on scene today. It's found in these young men and women. They got a different spirit. They walk with a certain level of, must I use the word, entitlement. Fearless generation.